been an intriguing year for Adelaide Crows supporters. They were the team of last year. They had a bad grand final day, but it's fair to say there has been some drama this year.
It almost started the day following the grand final, continued through the pre-season and lingered, frankly, for most of it. Enough has been said on the matter, and I'm not going to delve in it again tonight.
Well, we acknowledge we made some mistakes. That's what humans do. In our drive to improve in our program, both in our physical and our mental side, in hindsight, seeking gains, maybe we pushed too far, and that I regret.
And here's the problem: sorry's not enough. Sorry is not enough to that group. The sorry part of it, the forgiving part of it, the managed part of it from here moving forward, I think from what I've heard is problematic. And problematic for me means change or leave.
I have to laugh because at the start of this season, everyone was getting stuck into Melbourne because they didn't go on a pre-season camp. And now by the end of the year, everyone's getting stuck into Adelaide because they actually did. It's quite extraordinary.
And everyone's talking about Fagan, and I know you've brought Fagan up in weeks gone by, Sam, and also Burton. You're saying that their positions...
I haven't brought them up. I mean, one's the CEO and one's their footy.
And you're saying their positions are in doubt. That's what you've said previously. I'm saying that's a load of rhubarb. I'm saying that those two people at that footy club will not be going anywhere. And all this talk of those two had a big say in this camp, and their heads have got to roll. And I like Rowie. They're very passionate, as we know, over in South Australia. But why is it when someone at a footy club makes a mistake, everyone just wants to go, or they have one bad year, the right thing to do is sack.
Are you
Get rid of them, sack.
Had nothing to do with the camp?
I'm saying
he's their fitness guy.
I'm saying Burton and Fagan had very little to do with the camp.
But hang on, one's the CEO and one's the head of footy running the entire football program. How can they have nothing to do with the camp?
I'm telling you, Sam, that those two had very little to do with the camp.
So who decided on the camp then?
I'm just telling you those two didn't.
Well, no, but you're unwilling to say what actually did happen.
No, I know that those two... I know those two didn't. Obviously, Pike, the senior coach, would be right across it, I would assume. But they've all admitted now that the camp, they've done some things wrong with the camp. Why don't we all just move on? Because I tell you what all the Adelaide players want to do, and everyone at that footy club, including Burton and Fagan and everyone else, they want to move forward. And people that just keep fishing around for all this rubbish...
It's not fishing, it
just keeps it going on and on and on. It's a camp that they got a few things wrong. They just want to move on.
Sounds like someone might have given you a phone call from South Australia today. That's what it sounds like.
Well, where do you talk to anyone from South Australia when you speak about the things you speak about?
Absolutely, Duck.
Exactly.
But you've come in pretty fired up when you haven't been fired up on this issue before.
No.
So it sounds like someone's feeding you information.
I had nothing to say.
But, Duck, if you're saying that the CEO and the head of footy had very little to do with a pre-season camp that wrecked the season of their club...
In fairness to Duck, though, the CEO wouldn't necessarily be the sign-off person for a camp. He would know about it, but he wouldn't.
Very plausible. You have conditioning staff or someone specifically run a camp. You're not across that sort of detail.
The head of football at a footy club would
doesn't
know
necessarily
about what happens in a football program, including the camp.
Maybe in hindsight, Sam, but maybe not the detail leading into it.
Everyone that makes a mistake, let's sack him.
No, who said that?
Sack him. Well, that's what everyone says.
Everyone
says heads have got to roll. You got Rowie there saying it. You said it last week.
I didn't say
heads
it last
have got to roll. Burton's got to go. Fagan's got to go. Well, you've got to change the footy club.
Making up comments and attributing them to the no one, Duck, because I never said anything like that.
Let me quickly, before we move on, Mitch McGovern does want out of the Adelaide Crows. That has been confirmed, I believe. Is that anything to do with this year?
With Mitch McGovern, for me, he comes across as a flimsy person in some ways, and the reason why I say that, he's clearly re-signed, and whether he was coerced into re-signing and didn't really want to re-sign, but the fact that he did it and then a year later wants to leave, not only leave, but go to the club that finished on the bottom of the ladder.
What did you say?
Flimsy, someone that flip-flops their opinion from one thing to another, doesn't really know what he wants, and clearly now he wants out. If I'm the Adelaide Crows, I'm saying, see you later. I'm getting whatever I want. The one thing that you do when you have a year like that, they'll review it, and they've gone through it, and I'm sure they will be as strict as ever on that. You want people at your footy club that want to be there. If Mitch McGovern doesn't want to be there, see you later.
Agreed. And they'll get a good deal for him. No doubt.